My friend Munir, who was staying with me, he was a Muslim, he was on heroin. He was also a prison gangster, so he had various tattoos on his body, had scars on his face, and one of his eyes looked like a sort of pickled onion because he had been stabbed in the face after he had left prison in a gang hit. But we just got to know each other, and he was a sweet guy. I said to him, look, come live with me for sure, but one of the things we do every morning is we read scripture together and pray. He said, yeah, sure, I'm up for that. So he came and stayed with me, and we were reading the parable of the sower. Essentially, Jesus tells a story of a farmer sowing seed, and the question he asks is ultimately, what soil are you? Are you good soil, or are you one of the bad soils? And I asked this to Munir. I said, what soil are you? He said, oh, I'm definitely not the good soil. He didn't need anyone convincing him that he was a sinner, or he was far from God, or however we might put it. And so I said, okay, but do you have any hope for that changing? He said, well, I can't, because two things I've made, two lifelong commitments, one to Islam and one to the prison gangs. And prison gangs is a blood covenant, that's for life. So I said to him, why don't we just pray that Jesus shows you that neither of those two things need be obstacles to you following him? And I don't think he'd heard anyone suggest that before, but he was open to it and said, sure. So I prayed that prayer, and off he went and about his day, and off I went, and we came back that afternoon, and I said to him, so how's your day been? He said, well, the strangest thing happened to me. These four guys with prison gang tattoos all over their bodies, but wearing suits and holding Bibles, introduced themselves to me, and one of them was Ahmed, the other Ihsan, Abu Bakr and Muhammad. And he said, so these guys said they were all formerly Muslims, they all used to be in the prison gangs, but Jesus had saved them, and that he had highlighted me for them to approach and tell that God was opening a door in front of me, and all I needed to do is walk through it. My jaw hits the table, and I'm like, Munir, do you think God answered our prayer this morning? He goes, oh yeah, wow, that's amazing. Now, here's the thing. 14 years later, he still hasn't started following Jesus. He came up with every excuse why not to. Fair enough. But I think the other thing is that it gets me to think, what are the answers to prayers, or what are the evidence of God pursuing us in our own lives that we can say, actually, I probably pushed that aside. I probably deliberately forgotten about that. Or I probably just said, hell no, Lord, I'm not going there. Because I think each one of us has got our version of Munir's story. It might be a little bit less dramatic, but we can probably all resonate with putting God at arm's length to carry on with life on our own terms.